So we got to the hotel in Al-Ula, actually the town next to Al-Ula, and have a look how the air conditioning is plugged in. That's fire safe. Morning gang, mission for today, Hegra, and later on in the afternoon Elephant Rock. It opens up after 4 o'clock and there's some music performances and stuff. Later on we'll look around the old city after the dark and go back to a different accommodation than we are in today because it was the best value. And tomorrow Dadan and Ikman and the fancy glass building in one of the valleys, Valley of Ashar, I think. And then later on in the afternoon, a daylight tour of the historical the village and the historical town. And in the afternoon, we're gonna be making our way towards Medina and hopefully either sleep there or go and find some place nearby. A little bit of a correction. We need to go to Hegra Southgate. There's the bus doesn't come from here. We need to go to the different location. Typical, but nothing new. Hegra. Managed to get to the car park as instructed. We chose an option for a hop-on hop-off bus. Decided that's gonna be the best value for money and we will be able to spend as much time as necessary on any other given location and visit and sightsee at our own pace instead of being rushed by a guide and being controlled by other people and being hurried up from place to place. We got on the hop-on hop-off bus. We got some snacks and drinks in the hospitality center and now we are off to our first location. And it's a really cool bus, very comfortable, very modern.
في المياه والأرض الخصبة إضافة إلى كونها نقطة توقف للمسافرين.
I really don't believe that the people who made these carvings are the same people who made the other ones. See the way these carvings are made and everything. And see for comparison this carvings here and the quality comparing to the other one. Nie, każdy nie. See the quality of the carvings here and the writing. These little windows that are in here, the quality of the workmanship comparing to the other one. see tool marks onto the edges, and they're really nice and straight corners. But the tool marks are visible everywhere. And here on this side, there is some, like, an extension was being done, and a slice on the bottom. Tool marks visible here on any of those cases in the shapes there, and a little bit of the tool marks there visible in the bottom. But as soon as it comes up to the little alcove, the tool marks are gone. Okay, it looks like we have our private bus. Our hop on hop off bus is our private bus, because there's a bus that's still there and it's still waiting for us. So we're going in back to the bus and jumping on the other location. Our next stop is Jabal al-Banat, which is this really cool place here, carved in the face of a rock. So we have this exterior, like the previous tomb, quote unquote. There we see it. We can see a very hard tool marks, very big tool marks here and there, especially here on the side of the wall. And here in the doorway you can see the difference between the door frame, the precision of how the door frame was carved with perfect right angles. And even on the eagle over here on the eagle, we can see the level of detail and precision with it was created. The same here, the perfect symmetry and precision and a perfect right angle. And then we looked inside, which is supposed to be a tomb, and you can't see the same level of precision. There's no right angles, there's all crooked lines, very, very rudimentary use of the tool. It looks like it was the same tool that was used for carving the interior as it was to use the exterior, but the level of skill with usage is completely different. And again, very similar situation with this one, with the definite tool marks used to remove the bulk of the material, and very precise tool used to create the right angles and decorations. And when we look in the inside, completely different level of craftsmanship. Similar tool used and a different level of craftsmanship. Looking at the exterior, you can see a clear level when the different tool was used to work inside. And even the structure of the rock on the outside is a little different. It's like an air erosion. And here, it looks like it was plastered. Actually, afterward, it was plastered and the plaster fell off and exposed the underneath surface of the tool marks. And you can see a very poor attempt at recreating the same geometry on this example without reliefs being very deep. the very shallow reliefs. And here it's the cutaway into the doorway, which is really poorly geometrical shaped. Clearly see the interior tool marks and discoloration of the rock where the tool marks were left. Big jump in the quality from the exterior wall with a fine finish. The interior wall massive difference in the quality, but also the carvings that's supposed to be for the door, for the lock. And here it's a completely different level of quality. So the window on the top, which was added later, and some carvings on the bottom and the damage with erosion or negligence. Hard to say. A clear difference in the skill level from the top part and the bottom part. Same deal here. It's obvious when you look at it on a few locations how there's a difference in the skill level, and even you can actually see here on the top that the level of the release on the top is not flat. It's not actually level, it's slanted, and the wall, it's not parallel to the ground, it's actually slanted a little bit. It's interesting to see the obvious difference in the skill level in those carvings of the facades. You can see on a few of the videos there how much of a difference there was in the skill and the actual idea and geometry and ability to maintain level and structure, geometrical structure in straight lines. But clearly the surface of the wall looks like it was in some way modified. The structure of the rock is different, looks kind of like a pumice stone, very perforated, discolored. It could be due to erosion or the mineral composition. In the last few excursions we're very lucky, and even this time we have our own private hop on hop off bus, so we don't have to wait for anybody, we don't have to wait for the bus waits for us. It's a great experience, VIP experience. So we say our goodbyes to this location and we go to the next one. How good of a level is the wall? It's exactly perpendicular to the ground. It's perfect level. Yeah, clearly plastered. You can see the signs of plastering and flaking off. They're on the top band. And these here, number 126 and the one over here, are the clearly purely poor attempts on recreating the same technique. As you can see, there is no material being removed from the side of the walls, or if it's done very poorly. We're here with the number 127. Even with a bigger structure, there's a lot of material being removed from the sides, creating an arch. And there's an attempt at cutting a hole into the rock, but there's no tool marks, as we can see in every other place. whatever technology they possessed, it had a very limited ability to carve into the harder rock, like the black vein here. The black rock, you can see kind of like a tumorous lump that comes across, and it's the same here with the smaller details. It's also a limited ability to carve into the harder rock. It has to be absolute feat of engineering, because they removed half of the rock to carve the face of the facade. You can see on the bottom, the foundation is where the rock was, the remainder of the rock that was taken away. You can see the amount of work being done. Interesting how the work progressed all the way to the bottom when it stops here at the level where the work stops. Over here there is an attempt of creating the doorway. I'm gonna move on to the side so it's better visible, and some benches up front. It's very interesting how at the level of the tool marks with the bigger grain and the doorway exactly at the same level carries the same tool marks, and the urn on the right hand side at the top of the roof is misshapen, and the rest of the doorway is also so misshapen. Anything below that level, it looks very rough comparing to whatever the top is, like it was a phrasing machine, like a scraper digitized. Very similar thing with an extreme level of symmetry is visible in Egypt, on the Egyptian statues. The same level of symmetry, that kind of a level of symmetry is very hard to achieve by eye, very hard, almost impossible. It is quite obvious that the section where the line is finishes with a rough tool marks is the level where the job was being done by previous architects, and then it's not really well visible from the front, but the entrance, it's done in completely rudimentary level. It's very, very poor craftsmanship comparing to 20 centimeters above. And you can see it from this angle again, sharp corner here, and then the entrance, it looks completely out of place. It's like a lump without shape, without sharp angles, where everything else has sharp angles. Even the corners on each side, they do have sharp corners, but the entrance, it doesn't. You need to ask yourself a question: how easy was it for these people to make those facades, to make those architectural marvels that they managed to make so many in the whole area? It had to be very easy for them to manufacture them with such a precision and repetition. And how is that possible, that a civilization that was able to construct Hegra, the Mada'in civilization, lasted less time than the North Arabic civilization of Dadan and Ikman, and then afterwards no other civilization was capable of creating similar architectural marvels? And this is Maraya, the world's biggest glass mirror building, with hundreds of thousands of mirror panels, mirror panels, reflecting the surrounding area in a beautiful panoramic view. It's Maraya Concert Hall in Ashar Valley. With beautiful surroundings. All the mountains. There's a camping site, some like luxurious glamping hotel. More of a beautiful views. And very important here when coming, make sure that you have a reservation using a My Table app. Otherwise you wouldn't be allowed to enter the property. Now we're going to visit the old town in Al-Ula, have some lunch, and afterwards, after 4 p.m. we are going to visit the Elephant Rock. We're right here at Elephant Rock. It's really cool parking spaces. Now on for a short walk to Elephant Rock, and there's gonna be some music, I think, and opens from 4 o'clock, so you can't really come here before that. Again, amazing views, absolutely breathtaking. The surroundings looks beautiful, kind of a surreal, or even the Monument Valley, and as well as Cappadocia, very similar rock formations. And there's appearing the trunk of the elephant. You hear the music in the background, and here is our elephant, the chunky boy. It's a really nice place to spend the free time in the afternoon for the sunset. Have some drinks, have some snacks with friends. Really nice, really nice. It's the way Saudi people like to spend their free time in the sand with friends and family. That is it. That's the Elephant Rock. And now to the hotel, have a dinner, go to bed, wake up early tomorrow, go to see Dadan and Ikmal, and after that we go to Medina. It's about 5 hours drive with some stops, and we'll see how we go. Probably some adventures anyway.